Hi, everybody, and welcome. I have a special guest today. This is Ide. Welcome, Ide.
Hi, Neha. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And Ide is a brave soul who is willing to ask her questions so that all of you can learn. I'm dressed a little more formally today because I just came from a meeting. But I'm gonna take off this. I look a little too formal for the video blogs that I'm doing. So I'm gonna take this off and get comfortable. And you tell me, Ide, what have you been thinking about? Any communication questions?
Yes, I recently had a conversation with someone, and actually it was my husband. And I noticed that sometimes when there are conversations in which we're talking, going back and forth, and I might say, well, you said something and the other person doesn't remember, or say, oh, I never said that. Well, I don't remember saying that. And I am not sure if it was because I was talking so fast, or there was so much going on in the conversation, but then suddenly they say, I don't remember, or I never said that. And then I feel lost because I'm like, okay, I thought this was an important point for us to discuss. But if you don't remember, how do I get back to it? I mean, there are things for us to discuss. So I feel lost when the other person suddenly says they don't remember saying something that I thought was important in the conversation.
Yes. Okay. So Ide, you are not alone. Okay. In many relationships, I hear this. I hear that women remember every detail of the discussion and what happened. And that's a stereotype. It's not always women versus men, like in the role. But one partner remembers exactly what happened and what was said, and the other partner doesn't.
Right.
And when the other partner doesn't, it's almost like, well, what's the point in talking about this?
Right. And then it's like, for example, I like he said, to give you example, like, why I just feel like, you're trying to control the conversation. I'm like, I wasn't. I'm thinking this is important for us to discuss. And then I don't know, did I really say that? Did I hear correctly? Am I talking too fast? But I feel like it's important for us to go back and address whatever issues. It could be that he said I was controlling, or you said whatever it was.
Yep.
So, and, I don't want to be controlling. I don't want to be whatever the other person is saying. So how do I go back to bring it to those issues? Do I just say, okay, you didn't remember, and forget about it and just move on? But then I feel like we're not addressing important things.
Yeah.
You do remember every detail. It's like, oh my gosh, how can you remember? I know exactly when you said it,
Yeah. Okay. So we remember things that move us.
Okay.
So when emotions are attached to memories, we remember them. So you are a passionate woman. Mm-hmm. And as you are speaking about something and you're ramping up, your emotion is getting more and more intense. Mm-hmm. You are remembering it because that's how you're thinking about the next point that you're making in relation to what was just said, right? Okay. Now, I'm going to go bigger than this because a lot of people that are watching may know they're the one in a relationship that remembers things versus some of them may not be the person that remembers. One thing I've noticed is that when people are not as accustomed to discussing something, or they don't feel like they're as good at a certain topic, which might be emotional, which might be controlling, which might be interpersonal. Tell me what your husband's really good at. What's his superpower? What's he really good at?
He's really good. He's really funny. He's good at not thinking, relaxing and disconnecting, the opposite of me. I asked him, what are you thinking? I said, nothing. He says, nothing. I go, how can you not think of anything? I'm blown away. Someone can do that.
Okay, so first of all, let's just start with he's the perfect compliment for you.
Oh my gosh.
He's amazing. So Are you really going to be so surprised that when you're in this like a heated emotional exchange with him and he says, I don't remember, he's probably telling the truth.
I know.
Okay, but here we go, Ide, because all right, the first thing is, where are you feeling this in your body? Start by telling me, how do you know this is important to you?
I feel it when my stomach tightens.
Mm.
I feel tight. Like, it's not a short breath, but I feel like my body tenses up. My stomach tenses up.
Yep.
And then I get really tight. Just my body feels
Yep.
really tense. And I feel like, it's almost like I'm ready to fight. I feel this emotional charge that I'm ready to go on and embark into something physically.
Yep. Okay. So this tightness in your stomach, tell me what's true about what your husband said. What is true about him telling you that you're controlling? What's true about that?
Well, I am opinionated,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a lot of thoughts.
Yep.
And I don't mean to be controlling, but I feel very sure about certain things. Like I feel very confident.
Yep.
Maybe go this way. Not that I'm not willing to change.
Yeah.
When I address an issue, I feel confident about it. I am not shaky,
Yeah.
I am not a wishy-washy person. I know what I want and how I feel about things.
Okay. Well, what's amazing about your husband is he's totally laid back. He's relaxed and he balances you out. For God's sake, you asked him what he was thinking about and he said nothing. So here's the deal. I wonder if when the two of you end up in an emotional space, you're moving on an intellectual level. He's trying to balance you out because you have a lot of passion. You're coming with it. You're certain about it. You're Latin. I mean, like there's this whole
thing.
Yeah, there's this whole thing going on. That maybe one of his strategies is actually to not check out, but kind of step back and not get into all the details and not do these things because he does it regularly. That's his superpower. His superpower is that while you are into every detail, making everything happen and on fire, right? He's relaxed and he helps balance you out. So now you're in this discussion and you're on an intellectual level and you're deeply emotional about it. And if it overwhelms him or if it is too many details, might he step back to try and create space here and do the same thing he does in his life?
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the practices I use, and this is just an offering for you, is I journal whenever something, like when I wake up in the morning and my stomach is turning or I feel unsettled about something that happened yesterday or recently. So I have this thing, it's called the 3-time rule. If something comes up 3 times, the first time it happens, I notice it. The second time it happens, I mentally put it in my mental filing cabinet because it might be becoming a pattern. The third time it happens, it's time to have a conversation. Mm-hmm. Or the other way I know that it's time to have a conversation is the sunrise rule. When I wake up in the morning and it's the first thing on my mind. Because that means it's been occupying mental real estate for way too long at night. Right? Now, when I write things down, right? So I actually recently had this experience with someone I was dating. I can't remember the conversation. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember. Mm-hmm. So you know what I started doing? I started giving him recap notes. Okay. So it's like this. I wanted to talk about last night when this happened, and then this was said, and then this was said, and then this was said. Let me know once you've had some time to think about it. Let me know when a good time would be for us to talk about it. And then he wrote nothing. Okay, he wrote nothing. And I wrote back and I said, did you get the text that I wrote? I was just curious because you're talking about other things. I'm just wondering if you got the text that I wrote. And he said, Yes, I did. And I like me a good set of notes. Thank you. I'll let you know when I'm ready to talk about it. So what I realized is I'm processing things at a different pace and at a different level of energy and a different style than someone else. So my curiosity would be around with your husband saying something like, honey, it sounds like you don't remember what happened. It was really important to me. In the future, moving forward in the future, right? I don't want to feel like I'm really engaged and excited and trying to convey something to you. And then I bring it up later once I've had a little bit of time to talk about it. And it seems like you've forgotten. What would be supportive? Like if I put it in writing, like something that's really important that I want to talk about so that you can, you kind of have some points, or if I recap it, would it help? What would be supportive and helpful? Because what I don't want to come across as controlling. The last thing I want to do is control you. My intention is to connect to you and grow and learn together. I learned so much from you. Your laid back nature, I dream of having my mind not thinking of anything in a certain moment, right? So it's almost like a curiosity about your pace and how you're processing and what happens to him when you get emotional. Does he feel like that is controlling? Mm-hmm. You think it's passionate. You think it's exciting. You think it means how much you care. But that may not be what's happening for him. He may shut down. He may start to take a few steps back. Like, this is Ida, she's doing her thing. Right? But we won't know until you ask him.
Right.
And the other question is, my intention is to connect with you and grow and learn with you. So what's a good way for us to do that? Do you like yourself a good set of notes? Because I'd be happy to give it to you. And do you need time? If you need time to integrate it, you can always hit pause and ask me to give you a little bit of a summary of what I've just said so you can digest it.
Okay.
Tell me, did anything resonate for you? Yeah. What were your takeaways?
Well, my takeaways is that I think in these type of situations, my husband does have a strategy probably of backing up and just having a space, because I can be very passionate and
intense.
I raise my voice when I'm excited, and I don't mean, it's not that I am, I don't mean anything. It's just that it's part of elevating the importance. The louder I am, the more important it is.
And it's like you want to make sure that he gets how important this is to you. Yes. Yeah, except what he starts doing is shutting down.
Right, and then he goes the other way, and I'm like, what's going on? And I am trying to bring it back. So I think understanding that, it's helping me to go, okay, he's not to feel hurt that he doesn't remember.
Yeah.
To understand that he's just processing things in a different way, and that maybe I need to step back myself. That is not the time to finish the conversation, to give a space to go, okay, let's just talk about it later, or pause and come back later and ask him those questions.
So I just had another thought that I'm going to share with you real quick. What if when you keep ramping up and getting really excited, he feels almost like bulldozed because he can't match that level of passion and intensity and excitement that you have, I'm imagining, in a conversation. Right. And what if he interprets that as controlling because he now has no, like, he can't say no, or he can't, like, that feeling of like, I want to make my wife happy. And if she's this excited about it, like, there's not a lot of space for me to have another opinion. Do you think that might be some of it?
Yes. And I think that he's also, he's a strong man. So he will try to, he loves me so much. I mean, I know he loves me so much. And he wants to make me happy. And in those situations, he feels probably like, I cannot take this. this is just way too much. I love you, but please back off. I think he doesn't know what to do with me.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's just ask him. You know, it's like go in profoundly curious about what it means for you to come across as controlling to him and what happens for him when you're really passionate and he doesn't remember the conversation. Like how, if it's really important to you, what would be the best way for you to share that information? Would it help for him to digest it and have some time ahead of time before the conversation? Would that be helpful to give him some prep, right? Like these are the 5 points I really want to talk about tonight after dinner. I just thought I'd throw them down and share them with you because I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. So he can get like a running start. So you're not just like bulldozing right over with your passion.
I think so. Probably need to send him an email. This is what I talk, so he can think ahead of time. Oh.
Or afterwards, like write a good set of notes.
Right? This is what I thought, and this is what I shared, and okay.
Yeah.
And without the emotions and my voice, maybe it's easier to comprehend everything I'm saying without the emotions and intonation and my hands up and my
Listen, I want you to know we're making up all sorts of stories because we actually don't know what's going to work for him or what he's thinking. But what I am most excited about for you is how much you've opened your perspective. Like if you expand your perspective, you'll be curious and you'll be able to figure out because he'll let you know as long as you're open versus like going down one path.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So biggest takeaways, give them to us.
Okay. So I need to go and find what my husband, how he understands what I'm saying, what we need to do either ahead of time, give him information.
If something's really important to you.
If something is really important to me, which is a lot of things.
Don't worry, he signed up for this. I'm not feeling bad for him.
I know. Poor thing. So, or afterwards. Before or after conversation.
Awesome. Well, for all of you that know that your passion sometimes gets the best of you and sometimes you don't feel heard or the other person tells you that you're controlling, remember to get curious, expand your perspective, and be open to how the other person receives important information and partner with them. Just partner with them in creating a way that can work for both of you.